This is... What is this? So cool now? Yeah, okay. When did I make that? Don't remember. Original. End of chapter 2. Alright. Didn't get to finish the competition, did I? So, after that... I don't want to see any sweets for at least 3 days. Ugh. Tried a little too hard, Kichi-kun. Rena ate a massive amount of desserts too, but her stomach seems to be just fine. I think girls have full stomachs, or at least an extra stomach for desserts. It is very rude for you to say something like that to a lady. This is what you get for being rude. Bam. Ow. The choco had poked me very hard in my bloated stomach. Ah. Stop it. Please don't poke my stomach. I'm gonna throw up. Stoker and Rika-chan grinned mysteriously upon hearing that. A chill ran down my spine, up my spine. Why were they smiling like that and walking towards me so gleefully? No, stop it, you cold-blooded demons. Ho 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 ho. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Do you think I'll really let it slip away? Meep. Your bloated tummy is in danger, Kichi. Your big wiggly tummy is so cute. Stop it! Ah, no! Rena joined Toko and Rika-chan are tormenting me. We were still making a lot of noise outside the restaurant. I desperately blocked my stomach from their attacks, but someone else hit me from behind. Ow! Oh, who is it? Oh, hello. Shion, maybe? Hello, nice to see Yuki-chan and his funny friends. Oh, Shi-chan. Hello. You weren't at the restaurant today, were you? Well, I guess Mion, but I'm not gonna get into that. I'm working night shifts today. I just changed after getting here. How can you go outside the restaurant wearing that uniform? What? I'm not embarrassed. Especially not since you had to walk around in a way more embarrassing costume the other day. Yeah. Damn it, I was just getting over it. She had just reminded me that I'd never be able to get married. Anyway, I heard you went crazy in the restaurant today. Haha, we did. We had to since it turned into a club activity, you know. Made a big mess in there. It looks like Sis felt guilty, so she's helping the waitresses clean up at the store now. I still think we should help them clean. Oh, don't worry about it. We can let the customers do that. Plus, me made most of the mess. Yeah, that's right. Everyone nodded in agreement. She told me to tell you guys that if you don't have to wait for her, you can go home now. No, we're going to wait. Right, everyone? Rena asked for our agreement. Of course, we decided to wait without hesitation. Stoker and Rika-chan and I all nodded along. Since we can't help but clean, that's the least we can do. While she says we can go home, pretty sure she'd be sad if we really did leave. Wow, Ki-chan, you grew up. I'm impressed. He grew up alright. That's because we've been training him well, right? That's correct, Nipa. You girls always band together when it comes to things like this. I hate girls. They get along so easy just because they're girls. In the end, we ended up making a lot more noise, even dragging Shion into the mess this time. Shion, get back in here and help us clean. Where did you put the washcloths? Oh no, I guess I have to go back to work now. Mi-chan, do you think this is going to take a while? What? Why are you still here? Are you waiting for this old man? Don't worry about me. Go on home already. Mia looked happy to see us waiting for her, but she always sees the opposite of what she thinks. I wonder when she'll grow up to be able to just honestly say thank you. But we're friends, remember? We'll wait until you finish up. I wish we could help you. I feel bad. I told you, you don't have to wait for me. I'm going to wait for Shion to work tonight, then head to your house in Akinomiya afterwards. So you really don't need to wait for me. I do appreciate it though. Are you sure? I still feel bad. Yeah, me too, me too. We have enough people, so really, don't worry about it. We go home before it gets too cold. We understand. I hope you can finish cleaning soon. Go for it. Yay! Woo, thanks. Ki-chan, I trust you to escort the ladies home safely. Please protect them from assassins on their way home. Looking around, I didn't see any ladies who needed an escort. I felt more like I was the one who needed protection. Anyway, we said our goodbyes, making it easier for us to end the day and go home. Goodbye, Mi-chan. See you tomorrow. Yep. See you tomorrow. Alright, let's go then. We waved at Mion until she went back inside the restaurant. And after that, we all got on our bicycles and left Aki and Mion at motorcycles. On the way home, we talked about how exciting it had been today, and it looked like everyone was still fired up. So who won at the end? With that horrifying punishment and the competitive eating contest, which turned into an unprecedented battle involving all the customers in the restaurant, and after that everything got crazy and messy. At first the waitresses didn't know what to do, but after a while they just ended up joining in. We had a blast. That was wonderful. Did you see what Tomita and the Comic-Con did? How amusing it was. I felt sorry for Kamita and Ivy. So did I, but do you think my speech was great? Everyone in the restaurant was on my side after that. Chi-Chi, you might have been someone really important if you were born in a different era. What? This idiot? He's much too full of himself. An idiot will always remain an idiot, no matter when he was born. If he was born 100 years earlier, he might have gotten printed on bills. Money with Kichi's face on it? How pathetic. That would only be worth 200 or 300 yen at most. Stoker and Rika-chan kept up their continuous chatter. I was a bit tired after these events, so I just listened quietly. I noticed the wind getting colder. Is it better to be on higher bills or lower bills? Because I feel like people use lower bills more, right? So wouldn't they see you more? Shadows were getting along as well. Stoker and Rika-chan still had a lot of energy left. But what about Rena? She'd been too quiet. She's been very quiet. Maybe she also had a stomachache from eating too much. I looked at Rena to see. However, I was wrong. Rena was, I didn't know how to describe it. She looked very satisfied. She looked like she really did have that much fun. She looked like she was as happy as she could ever be. I can tell all that without her saying a word. When I looked at her, it made me realize that the word fun wasn't enough to describe what we did today. It seems like you had a lot of fun. What about you, Kichi-kun? I had a blast too. I wish we could have as much fun tomorrow as the day after too. I feel the same way. I wish from the bottom of my heart that the time we spent at the restaurant today would last forever. Wow, that's kind of poetic. Don't you agree, Kichi-kun? Rena didn't notice that I made fun of her. I might have been a little tactless. Suddenly I regret having said it. I totally agree with you. But you know something? Today's not the only day that's filled with happiness. A cool wind blew her hair. She smiled at me, and for some reason she looked very mature. Her parents made my heart skip a beat. Every single day, one of our days in Himizawa is a wonderful, precious, and irreplaceable day full of happiness. Including the boring days when our club activities get cancelled. Rena, you think about things in a very mature way. Haha, no I don't. Honestly, I'm still not done playing around yet. Maybe it's just because I'm still excited. Rena laughed, and that made me laugh too. Totoko thought that we were laughing because we said bad things about her and started bugging me about it. Once again we made a lot of noise like we always do. Well, Satoko and I are taking this turn here. Bye, Rika and Satoko. Rika, why not walk with them a little further and then turn where the tobacco store is instead? Did you forget our nightlight burnt out? Without that, it's too dark for us to sleep. Oh, that would be quite the problem. Oh, I see, you need to go to Mikino-san's general store. Then I guess we'll have to say our goodbyes here. You'd better take this turn, or you'd have to go a long way around. Nakano's general store? Oh right, that's where it is. If they wanted to just make a stop at the store before going to the shrine, turning here would be the quickest way. Okay then, bye Rika-chan, bye Satoko. I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Farewell Kichi-san. Farewell Rena-san. See you two tomorrow. Bye bye. Rika-chan and Satoko waved at us many times, then took the narrow path towards the field. Once the noisy girls were gone, it went especially quiet all of a sudden. It made me feel as if the sun had set in an instant. I could see my house by now, which everyone called the Mabada Mansion. I didn't notice it earlier because of how fired up we all were, but my stomach was about to burst. Regarding my gut felt like thunder. My body must have been paying the price for me acting like an idiot earlier. There's no way I was eating dinner that night. I needed to tell my mom before she started cooking, but before anything I'd have to go to the bathroom. My stomach was curving. Oh boy, it really didn't sound good. We had to go to the place where I'd always meet Rena in the morning, say goodbyes in the evening. I would have a lot of fun today. Me too. Are you feeling okay, Kichikin? My stomach is growling. I guess I just need to get some rest. You need to change your stomach, huh? You ate about as much as I did. How do you feel all that inside your tiny body? That would be a woman's secret. Rena giggled and tried to avoid giving me an answer. She'd probably hit me if I pressed her about it. If she punched me in the stomach, I'd go for sure. I decided not to go any further. Goodbye, Rena. See you tomorrow. Yes, see you tomorrow. You know I used to live in the city. Yeah? I never managed to enjoy each and every day like this before. But after moving to Himazawa, you know, I think I found happiness. I feel the same way. I moved to Himazawa a year ago. I can't believe I'm as happy as I am and spend every day having as much fun as I do. I see. I'm sure tomorrow will be the same. That's right. We had so much fun yesterday and today. So tomorrow will be the same. With all the fun we have every day, I sometimes feel like I'm going to trip and fall sometime, and it kind of scares me. You fall when you fall, no matter how careful you are. That's why I believe we have to enjoy every moment as much as we can. You're right. We gotta enjoy every day as much as we can. Well, it's probably time to go. Please say hi to your parents for me. Well, I still have a lot of energy left, so I'm going to go treasure hunting. What are you going there now? What? Are you going there now? You sure are resilient. I'm impressed. What about you? Would you like to come along? I found a new trash pod that I haven't dug up yet. I might find something be totally cute in there. Sorry, but I gotta pass. I'm guessing something's gonna happen when you go there. Besides, it looks like a storm's brewing. I think you should go straight home too. How... I usually find something cute when I've had a wonderful day like today, so I'm going there just for a few minutes. I felt sick enough I didn't feel like going along with her. If I felt better, I would have gone treasure hunting with her for sure. She didn't want to go home yet because she didn't want the fun to end today. That's exactly how I felt too. I understand. Bye then. I hope you can find something cute. Yep. Thank you. Bye bye. Kichi-kun waved over and over, as if he didn't want to say goodbye yet. But after a while he was gone. Bye, Kichi. Well, I had to go too, because I was going to go treasure hunting. I love cute things. I had such a wonderful day today, that I'm sure I'm going to get lucky at treasure hunting. I definitely will find some wonderful treasures. I pedaled my bicycle with determination. My house was nearby, but I took another street that led to the damn construction site. It might be okay to go home just then, but I hesitated to go since I didn't want to be seen. I had so much fun today and I wanted to continue feeling happy as long as I could, since I didn't want to be seen. It was already getting late, but I felt like it was getting darker faster than usual. Just like Kichi-kun said, the clouds in the sky were growing darker. It might start raining hard, but that doesn't mean I have to go home already. Stop it, Rena. You already had as much fun today. You have to stay as happy as long as you can. I'm happy. I enjoy every day. Rena, say it. Say the magical words. How? Don't be embarrassed. You're not dumb or anything. I might be able to enjoy it every day even more if I were dumb. If so, Dumb is what I would want to be. How I'm gonna find something so cute and take it home with me. There, I said it. I'm sure I can find something cute. As long as I believe it's cute, anything can be that way. I should fill my heart with happy memories of today and yesterday. I should look forward to the happiness I'm going to receive tomorrow and the day after tomorrow too. Pink sky. I've reached the damn construction site. A mountain of trash loomed before me. I parked my bicycle and walked down the mountain of trash and scrap. This place is my castle. It would be incredible if anyone else came to this mountain of trash. I've come here many times and I usually stay for a long time. I've not seen anyone walk by. This place is the village's blind spot. I heard that many people came here all the time during the dam wars, but it was abandoned after that. The village no longer needs to come here, and some people even forgot about it entirely. It seemed like they dumped trash here at midnight, but I've not seen a trash truck actually dumping trash at least. If they dumped a new trash pile more often, it'd give me more time to kill. But it looks like it's not gonna happen for a while. I walked down the slope of the trash pile all the way down to the bottom and headed behind another pile. Nobody ever comes here. I've come here many times and I usually stay for a long time, but nobody has ever come to mess up this place. Not even the other kids from my school come here. They all believe that the arm of the manager of the construction site is buried somewhere in the trash piles, and they believe the whole place is haunted. They told me that a ghost with one arm still wanders around here, looking for his missing limb. Sadly, I haven't seen the ghost either. I'm not scared. In fact, I'd rather like to meet him. I wouldn't mind helping him find his arm. If he's feeling lonely, I'd want him to be my conversation partner. There's a station wagon behind the trash pile. Buried in the trash pile. It didn't have any tires, but other than that, it still looked like a station wagon. The station wagon is my secret hideout. Unfortunately, the sliding door and the rear doors don't open. So whenever I want to go in, I have to enter the car from the passenger seat and pull it into the back from there. Of course, I take off my shoes at the passenger seat. When you look from the outside, it's just a dirty abandoned car, but on the inside, it's nice and clean because I had swept it out and decorated a little. That took me a long time. The back seats are lying flat because I wanted to make as much space as possible. I found a mattress in the trash pile and put it in that space instead. It was a bit dirty, so I brought a bedsheet from home and covered the mattress with it. I put my favorite cushions on top, and with that, it turned into a perfect bed. I put cushions and stuffed animals everywhere. That's not all, look at this. I have a bunch of sweets here too. I have a bag of fruit candy in 4 different colors, and some cookies, but they're going bad, I'll have to throw them away. My bear-shaped water bottle was empty. When I came here to spend time on Sundays, I usually bring this water bottle with some sweetened tea in it. I have a box of tissues, a flashlight, extra batteries, and other day's necessities in here. I also have a few books to read in order to kill some time while I'm at it. And I have this. What do you think this is? Look, ta-da! My hideout is suddenly lit up next to the table lamp. There's an electrical outlet on the side of an old nearby construction office. I thought they had cut the power years ago, but to my surprise I was wrong. Electricity is still being supplied to the outlet. When I found a ton of extension cords and came up with the idea to connect them and make the electricity go all the way to my hideout. Now I can spend time here comfortably with some sweet books and lights. If I wanted to, I might be able to spend the night here, but I may catch a cold since it's very cold at night. See, this is a very nice hideout, isn't it? At first I thought somebody would find it and mess with it, but that hasn't happened so far. It's because nobody comes here and everyone forgot about this place. That's how this place became my perfect secret hideout. Fortunately, I ate so much food today that I'm still full. I can tell them that I was playing with my friends at her house and ate dinner there. I'm gonna stay here for a while and relax. And I'm gonna treat myself. I love the water gun about yesterday. My heart had been pounding when I fought one-on-one with Kichi-kun. I also had a fun at Angel Mode today. I never experienced such a crazy game with so many people in my life. I was still feeling the after effects, and I was sure I would have a dream about it tonight. That was why I wanted to bask in these happy feelings. That was why I'm treating myself in here. I should take off my shoes and stretch my toes. I should cherish time when I can be myself.
Once I took off my shoes, I felt so relaxed that I didn't want to put them on again. I played all day today and I was very tired. The treasure hunt could wait. And it got darker. The light of the table lamp became encouraging. It really was dark, faster than usual. All of a sudden I heard the sound of raindrops hitting the roof of the car. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. The intervals between drops got shorter and shorter. When it became a continuous sound, we began to hear thunder. Even though it was raining heavily, it remained very quiet inside the car, making me feel like I was in a different world. It's my castle after all. It felt a bit cold, so I unfolded a big blanket and hid under it. I'm here alone under the warm blanket that has my scent. Even though nobody knows where I was at the moment, and I felt like I was left alone in the heavy rain, I still felt secure and free from anxiety for some reason. I felt like this heavy rain was going to keep my enemies away from my castle, and I liked it that way. This place is full of small happiness. It's one of my favorite things. That's why I'm happy whenever I'm here. When I put another blanket over me, I felt as warm as if I were in bed. I listened to the soothing sound of raindrops hitting the scrap iron in the trash heaps and made me feel sleepy. This is a castle of trash. Trash came here because nobody wanted it. This is where it lives. This is a country here where unwanted trash refuse live together. I feel like I fit in here, but at the same time I knew it was just a temporary place for me, as it's somewhere I had to go back to, and I shouldn't think about things like that. When I realized that I don't belong here, remember I'm in the middle of a very dirty pile of trash, I should just doze off a little longer. Thinking is poisonous. I wanted to keep myself out of that poison so that the kind Rena within me could stay pure. A little longer, just a little bit longer, and I closed my eyes. Higurashi when they howl. My mother was a very busy woman. The harder she worked, the more her work was valued, and she kept getting promoted. She sought to get higher and higher. She was always shining, and she was my hero. My mother started her career as a fashion designer at a small clothing factory in Okinawa. My father was a designer too. They met through their jobs and soon got married. They lived in a small apartment in Okinawa, but they moved to my grandmother's house, the current house in Yamazawa, when she got pregnant with me. We lived there until right before I went to elementary school. Now that I think about it, that was the happiest time of my life. I felt happy every day and believed without a doubt that tomorrow would be the same. I was so happy that I took it for granted and didn't even feel the happiness. I really did feel happy every day. Rena's probably just crazy. You know, with the whole entire Orishida-sama thing. But then how would she know about Orishida-sama? That's the thing. I don't know. She did live in Himizawa, so maybe that's why. I don't know. I was small at the time and didn't really understand what was going on, but it seemed like the company my parents were working for was having financial difficulties. So my mother and a few of our younger designers started talking about leaving the company and going independent. After many things happened, the situation grew complicated. They got offered to work at a big design firm in Ibaki. And they took the offer. At the time I heard my mother saying how many difficult it was, like a limited partnership and business alliance, but in short, what she wanted to do was move to Ibaraki. My mother and her peers were hired because of the talent and experience that made them immediate assets at their new company. However, my father wasn't one of them. Fortunately, my father wasn't as talented as my mother was. Moving to Ibaki meant my father had to give up being a fashion designer. My mother's new company had high expectations of her talent and promised her a responsible project. She didn't want to waste her growing talent and passion by living in a rural town like Kimizawa. My mother convinced my father to quit his job and move to Ibaraki to support him to help her build her career. Back then, moving meant that I had to say goodbye to all my close friends. I didn't want to move and I kept crying about it. After we moved to Ibaraki, my mother was a big success. Not only did she have great leadership skills, she was full of energy, and I believe she made the best use of her talent to succeed. She came home late every night and barely had any days off. When she had a big project, she often stayed entire nights at her office. But when she came home, she always looked fulfilled and wore a happy smile that she had never worn when she was in Himizawa. She was shining, and I remember I always wanted to shine like her when I grew up. On the other hand, my father wasn't doing so well. He couldn't find a job as a fashion designer, so he took a clerical job at a small company, but he kept changing positions. He couldn't use his experience that he had cultivated, and it was very hard for him. He was very understanding. He started to take care of things around the house for my mother, who got busier and busier and having one project after another. He cleaned the house, did the laundry, and came to my school events. However, he couldn't cook. He did cook rice, but always bought side dishes from a grocery store. We ate dinner without my mother more and more often. I guess she's busy again. Every time I said that, he'd always told me, your mother is working very hard, so let's support her, Rena. That was what he always told me. I decided to help my father with the cooking. I thought it was a good idea to learn how to cook since he wasn't good at it. Whenever my mother cooked, I helped her and I tried to learn how to cook from her. She apologized for not having enough time to cook for us, but she was happy that I was learning. I think about my school yearbook that I wanted to be a clothing designer in the future just like my mother, but apparently I lacked my mother's exceptional sense of style. She used to tell me taste is something that you're born with, not something you can cultivate. I remember I was discouraged to be a designer because of that. That was why I decided to reach her by getting better at things she wasn't good at, and started trying to be like her. I wanted to be good not only at cooking but also at doing things around the house, such as cleaning and doing the laundry and grocery shopping. I remember my father was really happy that I did all that for him, because he wasn't good at it at all. He couldn't find a job and spent a lot of time at home, so he seemed to enjoy spending time doing the housework with his daughter more than anything. I started to become more and more better at filling in for my mother, and she started getting too busy to do any of the housework at all. She moved on to a more responsible position at her job. She took me out to many places as if to compensate for leaving me alone all the time. She used to say, let's go eat something delicious without telling your father. She took me out to a restaurant. Why without telling your father? She took me to a high-class restaurant amusement park. Sometimes it was only me and my mother, and sometimes with her friends from work. She took me to the beach barbecue one summer with those friends. I was introduced as her daughter, and everyone of them pampered me. I just remember there was this one guy who was particularly died on me. He was a good-looking young man. I called him uncle once, and he got mad at me. He was nicely tanned with dyed brown hair. This young man came with us when we went out. My mother took me somewhere. She usually made several phone calls from her work during the day, and sometimes she took me out to a place where she could do her work at the same time. So I didn't feel awkward when people from her work came with us, but I always preferred to be alone with her, so I was happier when we could do that. One day she took me to a very high end part of town. Of course she always spoiled me whenever we went out. She brought me things and I would eat whenever I wanted, but she especially spoiled me on that day. She took me to many expensive looking bouquets and accessory stores. She was about to buy me something, but I told her not to get it because it didn't look good on me. With hesitation, she bought it anyway. I remember there were many zeros on the price tag. On the day I realized my mother designer work and made her a very successful woman, and she was earning a lot of money. We took a break out of a ridiculously high, expensive looking restaurant that probably charged 1,000 yen for its glass of orange juice. 1,000? My mother clapped her hands and spoke to me with a smile on her face. She asked, Rena, would you like to make your dream come true? When I was in kindergarten, my teacher gave me students a topic to draw a picture of. The topic was my dream. And I drew myself being eating a mountain of fruit parfaits all by myself. What my mother meant to say was that she was going to make that dream come true for me. It was a normal day. It wasn't my birthday or anything. But since my mother always spoiled me when we went out, I didn't feel awkward about it at all, and accepted her offer with a happy smile. There were 5 or 6 parfaits in front of me. I remember it looked exactly like the world that I drew, and I felt like I was floating in that dream world. It was too much for me to finish, but we dug our spoons into it as if we were playing in the mud, and we really enjoyed eating it together. It's kind of like what we did today at the restaurant. It was my first time to experience getting full by eating only fruit parfaits, and I remember I was very happy. I enjoyed the tasting the happiness and chatting with my mother. Rena, do you remember the man who went to the movie and had dinner with us last time? Are we talking about Uncle Akihito? How though I can't call him that he's gonna hit me. Ahaha. Rena, do you like Akihito? I hate him. He always teases me. That's because he likes you. You got along with him at the barbecue. Well, I get along with him every now and then. Uh, uh, I Are you trying to break up with your husband? Is that what this is going on here? Every now and then, my mother laughed. I didn't know why she brought up the topic, but I didn't pay attention to it because I was too young. Like, I thought that was what was happening when he was coming along with you guys, but it does seem that way, doesn't it? Now that I think about it, she was breaking the news. I just didn't notice it. Rena, who you like better, your father or me? You? It wasn't that I hated my father or anything, but I thought giving her that answer was appropriate after she bored me so much. If I said I'm gonna live in another house away from your father, which one of us would you like to live with? Huh? I'm thinking about divorcing your father and getting married to Akihito. At that time, my mother was a very successful woman. I didn't know at the time, but she was drafted by a headhunter to work at a bigger company, where she was promoted to a higher and more responsible position, one where she could bring out most of her talent. Well, that's not very nice. Now does she convince her husband to quit her job, and then she's just going off doing her own thing. Sucks to be him, I guess. Of course, the position wasn't the only thing she gained. Compared to my father's low salary, my mother was earning enough money to support a family of 3 and still had some left over. I'm kind of realized it was the way she spent money. The greater position she achieved, the more she spent with people at her level. All of them were bright and talented. Compared to them, my father might have looked unattractive to her. I like Uncle Akihito, but I liked him as one of my mother's friends, not in the same way I liked my father. I like my father and mother equally, so it's very shocking to me that my mother wanted to divorce him. I felt as if the ground below me was beginning to crack. The expression I realized actually fit my situation very well. I had to choose which side of the cracked ground I wanted to stand on. My mother told me to live with her at her new house. Her new house meant the house Akihiro lived in. I thought a house was a sanctuary for a family. I believed that a house was a holy place where strangers couldn't easily enter. That's why I believed how could she let a stranger invade such a holy place so easily? Why do you hate my father? My mother looked down and didn't answer. I asked her another question. Why can't you stay with my father? I think that was the hardest and most heartbreaking question of all for my mother to ask. And sure, my mother had cheated on him. She loved another man who was more attractive than my father. It was just that and nothing more. I knew more than anything that it wasn't my father's fault. First of all, he decided to move from Himizawa to support my mother as much as he could. For him, nothing good had come from that. Actually, I think he had a very tough time since we moved to Ibaraki. But he volunteered to be her support and tried very hard to do that. I thought my mother appreciated his support. So, I took her decision as a betrayal. I told her that I disagree with everything, including their divorce. I said it very loudly and made everyone in the store jump. Sure, continue your relationship with Akihiro, but don't divorce my father. I feel bad for him. I feel terrible for him. He's been doing nothing but supporting you patiently this whole time. How could you do such a cool thing to him? I screamed as loud as I could. Then my mother answered, "It's too late." Why? Why? You haven't talked to my father about this, have you? It's not too late. I'm pregnant. I don't know whether my mother actually told him about the divorce in person. A middle-aged woman who called herself a lawyer came to my house several times to talk to my father on my mother's behalf. She sometimes called him too. My father begged the lawyer to let him speak directly to my mother many times, but it never happened. I could tell by the way they talked that he had no clue that when my mother told him she wanted a divorce. Well, again, I'm not sure if she told him in person. The lawyer told him not to meet my mother, not to call her at work, and many things too. To top it all off, she told him not to see my mother ever again. He wanted to talk to her. He called some of their mutual friends, but he only found out the name of the guy who she was having an affair with and nothing more. He asked me, "Do you know the guy?" I told him, I do. I also told him that he was a funny guy and had given me candy many times. I never forget how much he looked when I told him that. He hit me for the first time. He hit me so hard that his handprint stayed on my cheek for a while. Then he fell on the floor and cried loudly. and then I started to cry too. I didn't cry because he hit me. Uncle Akihiro was so kind to me, so I liked him and talked to him out courtesy. And that wasn't it. Girls had to do that kind to everyone. That's what I thought, but I was wrong. I learned it in this world that there are people you should be nice to and enemies you shouldn't be nice to. The enemies are the ones who would destroy my life, and with their very existence, whenever they mean to harm or not doesn't matter. They're like weeds growing in a flower bed. Dandelions are innocent, but they take all of the nutrition from or the tulips from the soil. That's why we have to pull them out. The dandelions did nothing wrong, but they're the enemy. Enemies are bad people. That guy was a bad person. I shouldn't have accepted him. I should have rejected him with everything I had. By doing so, I might have been able to disrupt their relationship. By doing so, I might have been able to make my mother feel like their relationship was not going to work. If I tried to do so, my parents would have had to break up. My father and I cried together, but we cried for different reasons. He must have cried because this happened so fast and didn't make sense to him. I cried because I regret that I let it happen when I had the chance to prevent it. My father stroked my cheek and opened his mouth to apologize, but he couldn't speak and just cried with me. One day the lawyer let me see my mother. My mother asked me to live with her at her house again. I didn't know what to say, so I just kept looking down and listening to her apologies. My father knew that I was going to see my mother on that day, so he handed me a letter and told me to give it to her. I didn't know what he wrote in that letter, but for some reason I was able to imagine what kind of things he wrote when I felt it through the envelope. After all, the letter inside the envelope had a rough surface. He must have been crying while writing the letter, and his tears made the letter all wrinkled when they dried. Mother took the letter from me and told me that she would read it later, and was able to put it in her bag. I stopped her and told her to read it there. I wanted to see how she was going to take the last words that my father had left to her, but my mother didn't read it. She told me she wanted to read it alone later, and she put it in her bag. At that time, I realized, no, it was more than that. I should say I knew that she wasn't going to read it, because it was so obvious. I knew that my mother was lying. She had no intention of reading my father's letter. She was going to throw it away after I was gone, but she lied just because she wanted to seem like a more nice person in front of me. The slight curl in her eyebrows and her lips told me that more clearly than anything else. At that moment, I finally knew something else. The guy she was having an affair with wasn't the only bad person. My mother was also a bad person. Since that moment, the distance of my mother disappeared from my world like dry ice evaporating. I didn't have to hesitate about whom to live with anymore. I don't want to go to your house. The Higurashi house is my house. I don't want to see you anymore. Please don't ever call me. But Rena, if you live with your father, you won't have. At that moment, I hated my name for the first time in my life. Please, don't call me Rena ever again. I have to go now. Goodbye. Those were my last words to my mother. No, to the woman who used to be my mother. After that, I spent many days without feeling anything. I didn't know if the days were long or short. I didn't know which season I was living in. I was supposed to be nothing out of the ordinary, not having a mother around. But every time my father saw things that reminded him of her, like her toothbrush, her teacup, or her favorite books, he shed tears which felt like... what did it say? Which left me frustrated. That's why I decided to completely remove her belongings from the house. I roughly threw her things into a black trash bag. I started to do so frantically, but by the time I knocked down her wardrobe, I threw her music box hard on the floor and broke her mirror. Mine wasn't working properly anymore. When I tried to remember what happened after that, I felt disorientated. That's because the pills the doctor gave me back then made me feel disorientated and lethargic every time I took them. It seemed that the dullness hit me especially hard, since every time I tried to remember that time, it made me feel disorientated and lethargic, just like the pills made me feel. I destroyed everything that smelled like my mother, but the time I wanted to destroy the things most might have been myself. Even after I threw all of her belongings away, I still couldn't stop feeling regret, and I decided to blame myself in the end. Maybe I was thinking that I wanted to do damage to her reputation and successful life by destroying her daughter, destroying myself. But when I was about to reach that very last resolution, Rishida-sama came to me. Rishida-sama told me that to go back to Himizawa. Yes, all of this was because of his curse. Rishida-sama broke a curse upon the Higurashi family because he broke his rule and abandoned Himizawa. After I figured that out, everything started to make sense to me. All the crazy things that happened to my mother was gone. Because of Orishida-sama did all that to us. Yes, Orishida-sama's voice was telling us to come to Himizawa. That's right. We should have stayed in Himizawa. Everything was doing crazy because we moved. We had to go back to Himizawa. started feeling disoriented again and a dull pain ran through my head. It might be a scream from within me telling me not to push myself too hard to remember any further. The house where we used to live in Himazawa was still there. My grandmother already passed away and the house was the only property she left for us. I remember that I used to live in Himazawa, but all I remember was that it was a village that I used to live in right before I went to elementary school. I remember the atmosphere of the village too, but that was all I remembered. I forgot the streets and even the names of close friends I used to play with. My neighbors knew that the son of the deceased woman had come back to divorce, but they didn't know us and we didn't know them, so it was almost like we moved to a new place. However, as far as I was concerned, it was still my hometown, and that I'd come back to. At first, everything was inconvenient compared to life in Ibaraki. It's hard for both of us to adjust, but we renovated the old house. There was only me and my father. Life here seemed to make my father forget his pain from his divorce. Chan was very nice to me, and I started to get used to my new life too. I did everything around the house, and we gradually went back to a time when we lived happily together. Anyone can live a happy life. People sometimes say that some people are born to be unhappy, but I believe that's just an excuse for people who don't even know want to try. I won't give in to fate. I never give up on trying to capture the happy times that I lost. I'm going to become happy to the point where I don't feel the happiness anymore. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'll never cry again. I used up all those tears on that night my father hit me. The curse of Oishida-sama is over because we came to Himizawa, so I'm going to have a happy life from now on. All of a sudden, big raindrops hit the roof of the car, and I recovered my senses. It was still raining hard. It had gotten dark outside. Shadows, the table lamp faded to go very dark. I looked like as if there was nothing else around me. If I turned off the light, would everything in this world disappear? I turned off the light. Darkness swallowed me. But the cold air and the sound of the rain didn't change one bit. That made me realize I was still in this world. The curse of Oishida-sama would do those crazy things to my family. But did I convince myself it did just as an excuse for myself because I didn't want to feel guilty about the divorce. Sometimes I'm not sure. Since that day, Oishida-sama hasn't come to me. I sometimes feel like it was a delusion that I created because I was mentally ill, but he did come at that time. Sure about that. Am I right, Oishida-sama? I was unhappy after I left Himizawa, but I came back and I'm happy. Maybe that's what Oishida-sama is. He only comes to you when you're on the verge. But where am I supposed to go now that I'm unhappy in Himizawa? Where? Stop it, Rena. Don't think that you're unhappy. I am happy. I will be happy. I can definitely be happy. I suddenly felt that as if this darkness swallowing me, that I'd never be able to be happy again. I found the switch of the lamp and turned it back on. When I looked at the clock, it was already past 11 PM. I had to go home. I wouldn't have time to prepare my lunch for tomorrow. At least I would have to set the timer on the rice cooker. It didn't look like it was going to rain. It didn't look like the rain was going to stop anytime soon. I looked out the window to see the rain, but I don't see my own reflection. I took that reflection in the window. I was so glad that my father's happy. He'd been acting like he was dead for a long time. The smile on his face is a good sign that he's regaining his former life. He became miserable because of me. That's why I don't mind doing things for him until he regains his smile and we become truly happy. But when I stay here alone for a while, it gives me some time to be alone with her. As I don't have to fake a smile. But then, my reflection in my window tells me, Rena, you're such a good girl. You're kind to everyone and love them all equally. You can make anyone like you. But do you forget something? In this world, there are people that you should be kind to and enemies that you have to reject with all you've got. I thought you learned that lesson. No, don't listen to her. My reflection is always mean. She always tells me mean things that makes fun of my worries. But she always tells me things that I can't say myself. Let's go home, Rena, to your home. Forget about the mean Rena in the mirror. I was a bit hungry by then. After all the desserts I ate, I still got hungry. I almost forgot. Rena brought me a shortcake. Rena. I never had a shortcake from Asia more, but I bet it'll taste good. I'd have to give my thanks to Rena the next time I see her. Rena speaks in a way that makes it very clear how she grew up, but I'm sure she's a good person. That's because she's good to my father. I did everything I could to make my father smile, but I failed. On the other hand, Rena could put a big smile on his face so easily. I had to thank Rena-san. I had to thank him for cheering on my father. But I don't know why. I just don't like her perfume. Higurashi when they cry. Guess Ryan is like an enemy actually. Pink book. Today I went to a swimming school with my mom. Uncle Akihiro came with us too. I just don't like him because he's sometimes mean to me, but he's very kind. He's a very kind and funny old man. He told me my dad, he told me to call him daddy for that day because he was gonna play with me in the pool like he was my daddy. My mom calls him daddy, so I did too. Uncle Akihiro looked very happy and gave me a lot of money. My mom looked very happy and it made me happy too. I want to play with him again. I hope my dad can come with us next time. Rainy days. I think I did finish that. I opened the window and placed my cushion nearby, prepared to enjoy the weather, but she came over and disturbed my peaceful evening. She always ruined my time of solitude. You look pleased. Oh, that's right, you ate lots of your favorite sweets today. The girl loves sweets more than anything. I like them too, but I can't eat as much as she does. They give me a heartburn if I ate the amount she ate today. She seemed to be very happy, so I'll leave her alone for a while. I've been making my favorite hot and salty food for the past few days, so she must be quite pleased today. It was a very fun day for me too. I just want to enjoy the memory of the excitement I felt today by sitting here quietly enjoying the sunset. When I looked up at the sky, I saw some thick clouds forming there. The wind was getting colder than usual. It might start raining soon. People say that when deep-sea animals come up to the shallows, it's a sign of a big earthquake or a tsunami. We saw very rare fish that dwells in the deep water in the shallows today. Just as an ancient stories of sea monsters say, people hate deep-sea animals and tend to interpret them as omens of a disaster. It didn't matter if they showed up alive or dead. Now, I said something interesting just now. Even if they showed up alive or dead, it was an omen of a disaster. Oh, it might start raining soon. Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. I'll get the laundry. I grabbed a basket and went outside to take the laundry in. The clouds were getting darker. I normally like the rain, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it today. Rainy days are on their way. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Well, okay. Yeah, that's it for this time, so, bye-bye.